Hello, friend. This is once again we are came back. Today we would like to discuss about the common terminologies and the clinical safety. Uh, First of all, let's start with the common terminology you come across when you are working in a clinical trial or like a post-marketing surveillance. It's adverse event. So adverse events is any untoward medical occurrence when you are on a drugs, medicinal products, or investigational medical product or INDs which does not necessarily have a causal relationship with the drug. When there is a causal relationship with the drug, it would be considered as adverse reaction. So that is the basic difference between the adverse event and the adverse reaction. Now let us understand what is serious adverse event. Adverse event we have already spoke. Let us understand what is serious. So when the outcome of the event is like fatal, the event could be life threatening or led to hospitalization or prolongation of hospitalization. It led to disability and the important other important medical event, then it would be considered as a serious. So what is other important medical event? If the event has not taken any intervention and which could have led to any of the above outcomes, in that scenario those events are considered as other important medical event or the medically significant event or medically important events. You will come across different terminologies. So the example would be like a convulsions or the seizures where the treatment prevents any of the above mentioned outcomes to occur. And when the causality is related with this such serious event, then it would turn out to be a serious adverse reaction. Now understand one thing about this life threatening. The life threatening it refers to the subject is immediate risk of death or the like life threatening. It does not conveys that if the event is more severe or the circumstances are more severe, then it could have led to fatal or life threatening. No. You will come across a scenarios where investigators mark event as like life threatening event and then suddenly you will start thinking, oh, the event is life threatening. But look forward for the narrative description if the investigator has actually provided that justification why he considered it as a life threatening, or you can look into the narrative and understand where like if the life threatening life saving measures were done or not, or the medications were used or not. If not, then you can raise a query, ask the investigation politely saying that uh, looking towards the narrative or going through the narrative, we haven't come across any life-threatening measures or life-saving measures were taken. So could you please reconfirm the seriousness criteria? Down the line, you will come to know why I am stressing on this point about life-threatening. Let us understand when the event turns out to be a SAR. So there are timelines. Investigator will report any SAE within 24 hours from his awareness. Now, if any serious event which is reportable, then there are two timelines are there. The reportable events with life threatening and fatal outcome is 7 calendar days. And for rest of Other seriousness criteria, it is 15 calendar days. Please understand the reportable event. Reportable event means which is unexpected. We will explain unexpectedness how it is actually determined, but at this point, if the event is unexpected, it is serious and it is related, these timelines will take place. So when the event is like unexpected, serious, suspected, adverse reactions, that is suspected, unexpected, serious, adverse reaction. Investigator consider it as a related. Sponsor, when you are assessing, you consider it as a not related. Then for US FDA, it won't be not reportable. However, it could be reportable for the EMA or MHRA. I am not discussing about the local reporting responsibilities here because some of the countries all essays are reported, like in India, all essays are reported within 14 days of its occurrence. So the reportability for US FDA, it is driven by sponsor causality assessment. If the sponsor causality assessment is related and the event is unexpected, then it is reportable. Now let us understand, when you are saying it is reportable for US FDA, there is one more thing, analysis of similar event. So what analysis of similar event? So US FDA mentions that when there is a SUSAR which is reportable to the US FDA, sponsor must analyze the previously submitted IND safety reports for same and similar events and provide that analysis. This is in line with 21 CFR 312.32. It's always a good practice to refer the Code of Federal Regulations. So we will have upcoming classes where we will explain you about how to write AOSC. There is no structured approach mentioned by the USFD, but yes, as an industry, we follow some of the points which are common. Now, if the investigator is saying related and sponsor is saying not related, then it is not an reportable event for the FDA. However, in case of a global clinical trial, this is a reportable event for EMA or MHRA. So you have to submit this report to the MHRA or EMA. Vice versa, if investigator is saying it is not related and the sponsor saying related, you will submit it to the EMA as well as FDA if it satisfies the IND safety reporting or the IND is open for that. There are countries like Health Canada where life threatening and fatal events, majorly for life threatening and fatal events, they look forward for AOSC, analysis of similar event. So please keep in mind, when you are working on these countries, you have to think about when you need an analysis of similar event. Thank you friends, this for this lecture. I would request you to share this with the colleagues who are really working on these clinical trials and they would like to understand from this lectures. I would be grateful if you share this with those who are really looking forward for this. I am sharing my knowledge and I would be happy to share down the line. Thank you.